For what reason? None. And the mother, because she's the mother, so she must be the suspect. I always felt that I should be the suspect. Usually me being the head, I might, if you got something, bring it on. Let's talk about it and let's go. Never got it. But they put us all together as suspects, the whole family. But really, they were after Bernice. And Bernice had never had any history whatsoever of anything that even come close. And so, but they saw her different.
This was the local police? Or
The local police, Calarson. I think they even followed her one time, and one of the reasons that they followed her was they had a surveillance on her, and she went to the lake. And they had a listening device nearby her. And they probably heard her praying or doing something. And they interpret that as being a confession, or and they went over the water. Right next week, they're drilling the water. They're draining the water. Cost $35,000 to drain that water, based on nothing, just on on hearsay or something like this. Bernice was distraught, and she wanted to get away, and just think and not be part. There was too much pressure. It was just a lot of pressure when you go into something like that. You don't know what you will never undergo so much pressure like that. Especially when somebody, if you have a son and he gets killed in an accident, it's not natural, but it's an accident, and he dies. You accept it. You don't like it, but you deal with it. When you have a missing son, you don't know whether he's alive or dead. Forever. And you're always thinking about it, and you're always hoping, and you live on hope. And so that was our quick reaction, and then we slowly, it took 2 years or so to really go. And Denise then finally started going back to school. I wouldn't want to talk about it. I would interview, but I didn't have I was torn by it, and I just didn't have what I really wanted. I wasn't free to talk the way I wanted to. And I didn't know. I just did not know. And when you don't know something, you imagine everything, and you suspect everything, everybody. So even my mother, I suspected. It just anybody.
Did you ever suspect your wife?
No, never. Never even came into, no. Nobody, none of the family ever. No, that was impossible. If that was the case, my God, my whole life would really change. Then I don't believe in anybody if that happens. But no, I was with her, and we were together. How did she get up out of the bed and give me some drugs and go off and do something? I don't know. But no. She was real close to Christopher. And she was always, being a grandmother and being a mother, she was raised. That's ever since I remember, and I've known her ever since she was 15 years old. She was always a motherly person playing with dolls that was raised doing a whole bunch of things like that. That was her life. That's the way she lived. And you're going to accuse her of something like that? Get real. And so then we slowly started thinking we weren't getting cooperation from the police. They were interviewing us, giving us bits and pieces of nothing. We are still saying, have you checked this? Have you checked that? Assuming that they had. We gave them names. Have you checked this brother? Have you checked this person? And yeah, we got them. They write it down. Well, but nothing's happening. They weren't calling us every day. I would be on the people all the time, every day, questioning them, finding out what's going on, and try to see if we can break somebody. If they're suspects, let's work on them. They didn't break it. They didn't work on us. We had to call them. Would you want to talk to us? We got any new information? Can we come down? You want to interview us? And maybe we forgot something. We want to tell you, or whatever it is. You had the lousiest police chief in history of the police department, which was Munger. And he met with Bernice. I met with him for 1 minute, and he asked me, he says, I'm sure you've never seen this office. He said, no, I've seen this. I've been in this office. I said, when I was a commissioner. I said, I work with other police departments. I spend hours in here. So I'm familiar with this office. He ignored it. But he never helped us in any way. In fact, he might have hurt us. So then we finally realized, after trying, and we're giving rewards. We had 100,000. My company gave 50,000. We were doing anything we can. And we were sending leads. We'd send people out. We'd go out ourselves, and we'd go. Bernice traveled thousands of miles, going everywhere, going here, day and night. Sometimes you'd sleep in the car, sometimes in the camping ground, sometimes in a hotel, wherever. We did whatever had to be done. Sometimes we walked through towns, knocking on door to door, asking if they had ever seen this with our pictures and everything else. We got on radio, we got on newspaper, anywhere we go. I'd get on talk shows and I'd say, tell me, what have I not done that I could do? I was looking to see if somebody could lead us a little bit. And they'd give us usually some of the things that we felt we tried everything humanly possible to find him. I mean, everything. I mean, anybody suggests something, we go try to do it. It's a possibility. But little by little, as we're now doing our investigation, we realized that possibly the suspect, Emma Bradshaw, who I had been involved with, and I didn't know her before. I did not know her history before. You know, I met her. It was a casual thing. She never, but I could tell when she lied that she was a habitual liar, and I didn't care. I mean, she's a liar, and I didn't care too much about that. But I never imagined that she would be a kidnapper. But then we're finding information about her, and I'm saying that's interesting. And so I start inquiring and looking, and I'm saying we may have it right here before us. Whenever a kidnapping occurs, it's usually going to be somebody near you, and not necessarily family, but it can be a neighbor. And it can be an acquaintance or something, like somebody that knows your movement. And so we started to focus in on her. I one time found some trash that they were throwing out. I volunteered to haul their trash away. They then sift through the trash and gathered some valuable information. Telephone records, old license plates, driver's license, a whole bunch of other odds and ends. But you know, what I was looking for was what was there in '86. I couldn't find very much. They had left a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the material for '86. There's hardly any. But there was a lot for before and after, which to me pointed to the fact that they had checked that trash before they threw it away. And and I'm saying, and that's the only time that I have looked at her that she had an accomplished, because somebody had to be with her on the trash and to go through all that. I don't think she did it by herself. And I would say the brothers were the ones that were with her. So anyway, we started to focus and tried to follow up and did a lot of investigation work. And Bernice traveled, like I said, she traveled to New Mexico, where she was raised, looking for anything. We were always on TV, always in the news media. We appeared on every kind of major program in the country, and always talking about. We didn't know for sure. We had a suspect, but you have to prove it. I can suspect you right now of something, and but you have to prove it. You know, you're going to have to have facts, and say, here's what you got to put her in the place. You got to have an eyewitness. You got to have a body. There's something more factual than just saying she did it. And yes, she's crazy, and yes, she did all these crazy things, but can you prove that she did it? That's where we got to, okay?
Why do you suspect her so much?
Because she has the profile, the back history of everything fitting a kidnapper, and now I even say even a murder. I mean, I'm getting to a point where I'm saying she could have killed him. I don't know that, but she could have. She had the opportunity.
And I was looking over the Facebook. You were involved with her, correct?
Yes, yes.
Is there any chance that she thought maybe Christopher was her son?
No, it wasn't that quite much of an involvement. But the reason that she took him is, why did she take him? She didn't need another child. She had one. She wanted more of a commitment. She wanted more of a lasting relationship. She wanted maybe to get married, or long lasting. There's no way in the world that I was even, and I told her that. There's not, this will be over very quickly. I'm sorry, we got into it okay, but it's going to be over sooner or later. She wouldn't accept that. She said, oh no, we can work it out. And no, there's nothing that I can work out. And so I'm saying to you, all of a sudden Christopher arrived. Unexpected. Didn't know he was coming. I didn't know he was coming. But we are responsible people, as we have been all our lives, and we have to take care of him. He's our son. And I made the same commitment. I wasn't going to abandon him, or I had no other plans. And so she knew that. She knew how I felt. And I'm sure I probably said it. I have to take care of a son, and that's my life. And he became in the way. Have to get rid of him. because he's going to affect my life. And I believe that was the reason that she went in and got him. Now, was her intention to hurt him? Has she? I watched her over and over with animals, with kids. I've studied. I had never seen her really come in and hurt things or wanting to hurt things. I've not seen that. I've looked for it, but that doesn't mean anything. I think what it is mentally, she's sick, mentally, and when you're in that position, and she had been sent to the state hospital in Pueblo. She also had many other occurrences with others. I'm not the only one. She. I lost my point as I said that. So she's capable. At least when she was from 18 on, she was bizarre in many of her activities. What kind of person, and I ask you this just as a common person, would call every day at 10:30 for a year, hang up at 10:30 every day, just hang up at work, and it became a joke. I mean, Bernice will tell you, and they would hang up. Okay, Christopher was born. The phone call stopped for 6 months.
They kept going until Christopher disappeared.
Oh, okay.